right, then. So Nigeria is 65, and we heard Mr. President talk to us this morning on some of the advancement that has been made. He did talk about the historical antecedents of Nigeria and what has been attained in the past 65 years. This morning, we're going to be dissecting Nigeria's maritime industry, a critical review at 65. And joining me on the phone line this morning, we are so pleased to have a living legend of the maritime sector. He is a former Director General.
Hello.
Okay, all right. So I'm just trying to introduce you to our audience this morning. We have a living legend joining us. I'm talking about Mr. John Patrick Egesi, who is a former Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Mr. Egesi, it's nice to have you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Victor?
Very, very good. Happy Independence
Good
Day
to
to
hear
you.
Your voice.
Yeah.
Happy Independence Day to you.
Great. All right. For those who might not know you, I just need you to talk to our listeners this morning. You are former DG of NIMASA,
National Maritime Authority.
Back then.
Now NIMASA.
Right. Were you the second or the third or the fourth?
I think the first and possibly the only one who was National Maritime Authority.
So how does it feel? This is 65 years down the line for Nigeria in the maritime sector. How would you describe our trajectory?
The story of Nigeria is actually a story of the maritime industry. Every government that has come to power, has been very sensitive to the role of the maritime sector. Now, it would be stupid if they don't. You recall, of course, the establishment of NNSL just before independence. I think it was established in 1957.
That's right.
That was the beginning of the serious incursion of Nigeria into the maritime sector. Of course, the great company started operating in 1959, as all of us know. And they tried it best, to go on. So after some time, of course, we know what happened. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Right.
When it was having problem, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead.
When the government of Obasanjo during his first tenure, saw that they don't have ships to cope with the trade, he did something that should be commended. Obasanjo, by the way, is one of the best presidents we've ever had. Head of state, by the way, but that's what the title is.
Right.
I think he bought about 20-something vessels. Okay. But unfortunately, very, very unfortunately, the vessels that we have bought were combo vessels, combination carriers, not the modern containerized vessel. Okay. And this was the period the world was changing into containerization, both putting down the port structure required for it, so that even though the NNSL has the ships, the operation became tedious, if you know what I mean.
Right.
They couldn't operate freely at the port, and so on and so forth. I'm just giving you a general outlook of what happened. And then, Obasanjo having done that, a lot of the ships were actually mothballed, and kept somewhere around Sapele or so, or somewhere around Lagos.
Okay.
And that was what happened. And those ships, many of them decayed and are not of much use.
All right.
A lot of people were in the first group of pilots and captains of the Nigerian NNSL.
Right.
Were trained by NNSL and the Port Authority, if you know what I'm saying. But of course, Port Authority precedes NNSL because we have a port before we started the shipping line.
Very correct.
Okay. Yes. So as time goes on, by the way, it's very, very important to understand economics, particularly international trade. If you don't understand international trade, you really cannot understand the problems of government in relation to developing the maritime industry. Now, eventually, Nigeria is still struggling with the combo vessels. Up till this day, many of them out. In fact, they are all out of service.
Right.
And of course, the National Maritime, the NNSL, was itself dissolved.
Was grounded.
Yes. And then, very, very important, extremely important, Babangida came in with a land-breaking incursion again to save Nigeria. He did a marvelous job. We did a Decree 10 of 1987.
Okay.
It's a very famous decree. Most Nigerians know about it, which established the National Maritime Authority. And we have the grace of God of being the developmental directors, if you like, the management director of that era.
And if I'm to come in at this point, so who headed the National Maritime Authority at the time it was created then?
Dr. Ekong.
Okay.
Dr. Ekong was brought in from the central bank. He was the DG. He suffered a lot of political constraint by other people who thought they are better. But Dr. Ekong tried his best. We worked under Dr. Ekong, myself, and I must significantly mention the man that has died now, Mr. What is his name now? I recall him later.
Okay.
It was the first acting director of operations. I was the acting director, assistant director myself at the time.
Okay.
Why should I forget his name? Akinfe.
Akinfe.
He's a gentleman. Both of us trained in England and lived in England. He was an old staff of the NNSL.
Okay.
And who was their staff in England, and he was recruited to help develop the place. And both of us worked together to establish the various post services controls that you see today all over the country.
Wow.
Sapele, all those, Warri, Lagos, and Port Harcourt, and all that. It was the work in fairness to Ekong, under Ekong.
Okay.
Then we used to come to work at around 7 and go home by 10 in the night. You know what it is to develop a place. It took a lot. Many of the people, our former staff, have died. The pressure, nobody remembers them. Many of them died. I remember people like Ruma Wasago, who was hearing this thing with myself at the operations assistant director. Many of them died of stress. Are you getting my point?
Very much.
To put NIMASA in the map. The problem of NIMASA, not NIMASA, NMA in the map. But most majorly, it was John Patrick Egesi, that's my humble self, and my Oga Akinfe, who in the process died in the hospital. Died when we were around 1990.
Wow.
And then the problem of NIMASA started coming when political consideration was being injected at the head of it. And the dream and what we have achieved in the short year between 1987 and 1991 was seriously constrained, by powerful people.
Right.
Some of them are extremely good. People like Munir Jafaru was good, but more or less the consideration of the I don't want to use the word Nigerianized bastardization, but it infected the purity, the focus that Akinfe and my very humble self had, at the onset. Yes, we had problems. I'm going to tell you the problem.
Okay.
Now, the problem we had was that, the trade we are having, Nigeria does mostly imports.
Right.
Good. This import, the incident of cost always lands on the lap of the Nigerian boy in the street, Nigerian families, if you know the economics. I don't want to go and start driving. You don't see me. You are talking on the radio.
Right. The economic dynamics of it all. Yeah. So
I cannot draw graphs of economics, to explain this. And Babangida's this thing was an interventionist policy to help Nigeria. Because NNSA was collapsing on its knees. It couldn't carry cargo because it's not technically fit. Okay. It has no good ships. Secondly, it was constrained by the fact that it has to go to the foreign port to carry it. And this foreign port, of course, prefers their own shipping companies. Are you getting the drift?
Right.
So Babangida established the 40-40 decree. That's what it's called, 40-40-20. Which establishes that Nigeria should carry at least 40% of its trade, and the other place where it came from, whatever they are, should carry 40%, and then 20% for the cross-trader who doesn't belong to either of these countries.
Okay.
It was a great thing, and we should remember Babangida for it forever. He did a marvelous job there. And so we started upon the shoulders of the staff. Many of them have died now. May their soul and the souls of the faithful departed rest in peace. I miss all of them. Ruma, many of them, who started this journey with us.
Right.
Basago and my humble self. So when he established this thing, we started having problem with the European Union.
Why was that? Why was the problem coming up?
Because they don't want an interventionist policy. They don't want us to get the 40 cargo simply by a fiat. They want it to be like the what you call in shipping conference line. They divide it by themselves according to how they like. Are you getting my point?
Right. So it was
they don't want intervention by government, and that was the stress. Sometimes they blackmail staff, particularly senior staff like the director or myself, or to ensure that thing. But thank God, this first generation of directors were very clean. Anyway, when this man left, they brought somebody else. That one has died. But it's important to mention this gentleman who took us eventually to Abuja, I think. What is his name? And Munir Jafaru.
Okay.
And he did quite a lot of good things. Staff that have been stagnating for years as assistant director were promoted to directors, but that is not for the for the general public.
For the consumption of the public.
So we started working.
Yeah. So let me just come in at this point, Egesi. So what are the key milestones in terms of development for the maritime industry over the past 65 years? How would you describe it?
There's quite a lot. One of the key policies is the port services contract, and then the one like NIMASA likes to mention many times. The coastal
inland coastal the Cabotage Act.
The cabotage established by us. Yes, it came into effect in 2003.
Right.
And that was a wonderful thing. And the reorganization to take care of the pressure of the international world, by establishing and changing it to NIMASA. Although I don't like the name NIMASA, they could have retained the name, but still do the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was a very key development. And then the establishment of inland ports, which is spearheaded by Shippers Council,
Right.
And yes, inland port, we must give kudos to government.
Okay.
But there is something I want to mention. You remember that when our shipping companies were saying things about they were trying to collect some money, if you know what I mean, so that we develop the shipping port what they call the shipping fund.
Right, the port fund.
You remember what?
I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
The shipping fund. But when it was given, I was against giving the money because I know that many of them will use it to get married or buy many wives instead of buying the ships.
Well,
in spite of giving,
so if I had to come in here, the CVFF fund, which is the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund,
it was shipping financing fund before, but Cabotage Financing Fund now. Yeah.
Right. So even though it has been established since 2004. It is yet to be disbursed by NIMASA. Where there are hopes. Yes, I can hear you. There are hopes that the fund will be disbursed this year. Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead again.
Yeah, so I said there are hopes that the CVFF fund will soon be disbursed any moment from now. But you were saying that before now it was the shipping disbursement fund, right?
Well, Cabotage, whatever fund it is. But what I'm trying to say is that such a thing must not be given politically.
Okay.
It is very important to be focused on the betterment of Nigeria, because eventually it is people that have no interest in the country that will get it, just like it did in the other time. They swallowed the money and nothing, absolutely nothing came out of it.
Right. So let's talk about...
I will advise the president to hold reins, when you're driving the horse, you hold the reins about this. Don't push the director general, the young gentleman who is doing a very good job, by the way, not to push you to give out, to disburse this money. When we were establishing the post service, the Cabotage Fund and all that, and having been beaten by the first thing, there was a plan we have. I can't mention it on the internet. Okay. I mean, on the radio.
Right.
If the government wants it through the Director General, we will, mention it to him what the money could be used for. Are you getting my point?
Right.
Because when you find out what your problem is, then you use it to solve it. Okay. Just giving money to people to do as they like doesn't solve problem. It didn't solve it initially. Nobody bought any vessel. Nobody, as far as I know. I was there. I was operations director. Are you getting my point?
All right. Okay, so let's talk about regulations now. John Patrick Egesi, how would you describe regulations of that sector in the past 65 years?
How would I do what?
How would you describe regulations, the regulatory authorities within that
The
maritime sector?
regulatory authority of NIMASA are doing very, very well, given the constraint they have. That organization is doing very well. I know there was this POMO thing that was established, this POMO Act in 2019. I remember.
Yeah, right.
To curb piracy and all that. And they are doing the people in charge at the ports. There are so many names. Sorry, man is getting old. You should be clapping for me to be talking anyway.
Definitely.
All these things, the staff of the NIMASA are doing their very damn best.
Okay.
And in spite of all the pressure they have, they are doing a lot of work. And I must commend the President Director General for his. I think somebody told me he trained as a maritime expert. And I'm very delighted with that. Appointing the man itself is a help. You know what I mean? But throwing people that have no idea of what the problem are is not good. Yes, go ahead.
All right. So let's talk about infrastructure for maritime
we
now.
wanted to say something.
Yes, I said let's switch to infrastructure.
Port congestion, for instance, is not what we are talking about now. We are talking of regulation.
Right.
And I think they are trying to, the people that are sent there, the NIMASA staff, they are doing their best for maritime safety. Port services controller, port services, and all those things. They are doing what they can. And I think given this thing and maintaining international law, because they have to maintain international law in doing everything they're doing. The NIMASA is the face of Nigeria internationally. It's not like an internal police. It has to do things according to the law. He cannot even favor his own mother when he's carrying out this thing. They must do it international law so that the position of Nigeria will be elevated at the IMO. Without those things, yes.
Just a second. Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM. We are dissecting Nigeria's maritime industry, a critical review at 65. And if you're wondering who my guest is this morning, we're privileged to have a former Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Authority, which is now NIMASA, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, John Patrick Egesi. All right, we're going to take a short break right now. When we return, we'll talk about infrastructure for the maritime sector. How far have we fared in that regard? And Nigeria is supposed to be a maritime hub. John Patrick Egesi will let us know what is really the hindering factor, or perhaps what is the stumbling block in Nigeria attaining the status of a maritime hub. A brief break, we'll be back.
Nigerian Shippers Council Day to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you. Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a needle. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily lane. Papa email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. For you we dey gidigba. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting now for the port of Nanir.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program, and I still have John Patrick Egesi, former Director General, Nigerian Maritime Authority, now NIMASA, as our guest this morning, as we're looking at a critical review of Nigeria at 65, using the maritime sector as a point of reference. Ejigbo corridor is raining within the corridor, and we can tell you vehicular movement from Old Garage inward Council Roundabout moving pretty fine. Likewise for the return journey, Ikontu intersection heading towards Ojodo moving very well too, and we can tell you we have some commercial buses that are making use of a lane for their own activities. We're serving you more helpings as they continue to spring in. But John Egesi, let's talk about infrastructure for the maritime sector. By the way, if you want to add your voice to the conversation this morning, feel free. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh dear. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, what did you say?
I said, let's talk about the infrastructure for maritime sector.
Okay, the infrastructure. There was some improvement actually at the port structures at Apapa, Tinkan. So, for instance, we recall that in 2023, I think, the throughput was 1.57 million TEUs, which was an improvement.
Right.
But this is the one that is recorded. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
And we cannot. How you measure something is the thing that could have been that didn't come because certain things are not done. You know, it could be very good. Nigeria could be the very hub of the whole of West Africa. It has the population. It has what you call the gravity. You know, to attract the whole international being, so that other West Africans will be just bringing their own little vessels to carry their destiny, including the internal port of Nigeria. We should develop other parts of the country. 65 years, we should develop. Otherwise, Lagos may choke. You can see it is extending itself along the line. It's not a bad thing. That is a development that will help in decongesting. But what happens to Calabar Port, for instance?
Right.
What happens to Warri Port? What happens to Port Harcourt? All those areas are density area that with the develop. You know what a port is? A port is a city developer. Once you establish a port, other industries surrounds it and it starts growing geometrically. So if you concentrate on Lagos, we will have only Lagos. Lagos is always, like we say in Yoruba, you know, it has reached its very end. Are you getting my point?
Right. Okay.
So,
all right. Let's take some reactions. Some people are really, really eager to talk to you. 080-99120777, 09153877127. This one says, "Good morning and happy Independence Day. It's so nice to hear Sir Egesi on your program. Many young Nigerians want to work in shipping and logistics. How can they enter the industry?" Bright Okon is sending that one in. Thank you so much, Bright.
Very beautiful. There are various small schools in Nigeria. They may not be certified, but they are established by people who have been in the industry, and they can learn. But the most important subject, if you ask me, in maritime sector, it's not just the bolt and the tighten this and no. It is economics. Believe you me. Yes, I'm a maritime expert, yes, but the major subject I've always been very happy about is economics of international trade. The maritime sector and banking share the same nature. In England, they do the same subject, except banking and then maritime practice. They should study those subjects, and it will give them power. And of course, in these days of digitalization and computerization, you should be well armed with this subject, you know, with this knowledge.
All right. Okay? This one says, we keep hearing about blue. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Sir, are you there?
I am, yes.
Okay. We're having some more reactions coming in for you. This one says, we keep hearing about blue economy. How does that affect the ordinary man on the streets? In
fact, the blue economy is for the ordinary man, is to take advantage of the riverine territories. You get my point? And also to properly recognize the aspect of shipping, the aspect of fishing. Are you getting my point?
Right.
The blue economy comes from the blue deep sea. Are you getting me? All those economies that are around there should be taken advantage of. The development of the cabotage is part of blue economy. Do you know that?
Right.
It's not segregated from it. It leads to it. It is to intensify it. It is to promote it, you know, so that to develop the port, the cities along the port, which will now feed to hinterland. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the blue economy is a very, very important development. And I thank this present government for plunging into it. Okay. It appears it is one area. I'm not a supporter of any government, but it is one area I think they have done well. They've done well, particularly in the appointment of their DG. Their DG is a very highly educated person, and I think it's doing very well.
All right. This one says, Happy Independence Day, Nigeria.
Hello?
This one says, Happy Independence Day, Nigeria. It says, sir, why do Nigerian ports always have delays?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello, sir?
I can.
Hello?
It cuts off, you know, our system, and it rained.
All right. So, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, this one says, why do Nigerian ports always have delays? Is it corruption?
Always have delays.
Yeah, is it corruption, lack of infrastructure, or something else? This is Ifeanyi.
I'm sure you know the answer yourself. The thing is that one, the port, the input, that is the shipping company that most of these companies have come in, they are foreign lines.
Okay.
You know, they bring in vessels and we don't have the structures. There has been improvement. There has to be a link between the customs and other parties in the port to have a one point channel, what you call it, 1 point window in dealing with things,
right,
so that the ship turnaround time is improved. And then the land area surrounding the port is made open like it is in England, in other places, even in Ghana. I've been to Ghana and other places, so that immediately the containers are being carried, they are off on their way. And there should be a step between the rail line and also the shipping line. This should be developed without political consideration.
All right.
Let's develop it for economic reason.
Right.
Yes.
Let's begin to take this to the end now because of time constraints. So, Mr. Egesi, how many years have you been in the industry?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
How many?
How many years? How many years have you been in the industry?
From in England to Nigeria, it's more than 30-something years.
Definitely, certainly, that will be more than that.
You know,
maybe more than 50 years.
The industry, the maritime industry, is a little bit in my blood. So when we came in, we started NIMASA. That was my first incursion in Nigeria. Are you getting my point?
Right.
And then we developed it till other people take over from us.
Okay. So
if you are saying how many years from 1988 to now, you can calculate it yourself.
That's very true. All right. So as we round off now, so what's your message to Nigerians? What's the final message as we round off?
My message to Nigeria is first to congratulate the whole of the country, to congratulate the president for what he's doing, what he's trying to do, and to make him have an open heart, an economic heart, not a political heart, on matters concerning the average Nigerian. That is matters of trade, matters of development, so that the poor person on the street in Sokoto, in Enugu, in Port Harcourt, in Ondo, will have something to eat. Transportation is very important, not just tarring road, no.
Okay.
Not just tarring road. Developing the internal ports so that movement will be shorter. May God bless you through Christ our Lord.
All
Amen.
right, then. Thank you so much for connecting with us. It's a thing of joy to have you join us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, then. So I've been speaking with John Patrick Egesi, who is former director of, that's Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Authority, now Nigerian Maritime Safety Administration Agency, NIMASA. And we've been dissecting Nigeria's maritime industry, a critical review at 65. We have to go. The program has been produced by Dayo Anthony. I say a big thank you to Okpayemi Shodunke and Daniel Downsi of our social media unit. Rebecca Adamu is Assistant Director, Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. And of course, our executive producer is Tayo Okoli. My name is Victor Oteri. Connect with the Shippers Council on all their platforms at NG Shippers. I'm out. Stay very much within. Bye.